mentioned. There's one particular story that perhaps you have mentioned, and it will wonderful if we can reflect on it. That's the traffic officer. That's the policeman who was crushed who was said to have been crushed while on duty. Is indeed something that should be of concern there. First of all, one will have to quickly sympathize with his family and other loved ones over what has happened. Perhaps it is important at this stage to ensure that we have speed brakes. In some places you have speed brakes, but in other places you do not seem to have speed brakes. Speed brakes will help to ensure that motorists slow down. Yes, some persons drive quite carefully and cautiously, but you'll agree with me that there are also others who may not be doing so. And it is also important for traffic wardens on duty to ensure that they do not stay in front of moving vehicles.
I was going to say that.
Yes.
I mean, in as much as we definitely send our condolences to the family
Yes.
of the officer who died in the process of doing his duty, we also do know that a lot of law enforcement agents have the knack for jumping in front of moving vehicles as a way of making them stop, sometimes making them stop abruptly without taking recourse to what might happen to their own life.
Your uniform.
If the mechanical apparatus of the vehicle
Yes.
is not working properly. I mean, brakes are things that can fail.
Yes.
So in situations like that,
Your uniform is not likely to help you.
No,
So move away from moving vehicles. If you ask someone who is not complying with any of the traffic rules to stop, and the person refuses to stop, there are other things you could do. With something as common, is not common anywhere, as your smartphone, you could snap the vehicle. In fact, get as more details as possible to enable you perhaps
prosecute later.
Yes.
Do we have proper database to follow up in terms of a later investigation? Kudos to VIO, VIS, who these days tend to send bills to people's homes. It's a thing, it's happening. So sometimes, because I see a lot of last mile officers, when you stop a car, a lot of them whip out a phone and they're taking pictures. Sometimes some of them actually don't look like, they just look like they're just trying to show they're working. But in reality, is that a system that is functional? Having them take pictures, is that not why we're having cameras installed on traffic lights and at strategic junctions? I don't know.
Yes, you have raised an issue that should be of interest. And what is that issue? That the database that the country may be boasting of for now may not be that reliable. And even if we have something we could call a database, it doesn't seem to be properly networked. Yes, that is an issue that should be taken up by the relevant agencies. Why is it that you don't have a database that could be said to be properly networked? Quite a lot of registration has been going on in this country. There's one being done by NIMS, that's talking about National Identity Registration. There's the one being done by banks, talking about BVN. And of course, when people buy vehicles and of course go to renew their licenses, a form of registration also goes on. The agencies involved should be able to synergize and of course ensure that the database we are referring to are properly networked. It should not be perhaps because that has not been done, on no account should traffic wardens be encouraged to be in front of moving vehicles in a bid to stop erring motorists. No, your life is more important than trying to stop an erring motorist. It is when you have been able to save yourself from being crushed to death that perhaps you can live to actualize your dream of being a wonderful traffic warden. Back to you.
All right, so do know that we have these headlines and more on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Metro977 Live. And we're also streaming live in the studio, so you can be part of the conversation going on. You can drop your comments underneath the post on Facebook, or the live stream on Facebook. We'll definitely read your post from there. You can also send us text messages to these numbers: 0810-608-1681 and 0818-202-5883. Now let's check some of the dailies. We have the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, from Vanguard newspaper this morning, we have a few headlines, top stories here. 20 Chibok girls still in Sambisa forest, and that's according to the rescued girls. 2023, Obi Kwankwaso working on Mega Alliance. Abure Ukukwe, Inusa Tanko are all speaking. 24 states get 477 billion naira refund for expenses on federal road projects, and that's according to the federal government. Court remands worried chief over alleged assaults. Okay.
Now we are sorry.
Go ahead.
You're getting refund for road projects. We do know that we've also borrowed money for a lot of other projects. Shouldn't we be thinking of paying back borrowed money?
Yeah.
And then when revenue is now being made internally, we can now refund state governments that spent state funds fixing federal government roads. I'm just thinking. And then to the Chibok girls, we are having a test.
Was classified as belonging to the federal government. That's talking about the truncated roads, the truncated highways. Indeed, it could be seen as a form of borrowing, because that particular state ought to have been using that money to meet the needs of each indigenous. So it's a form of borrowing, and it's heartwarming that the federal government has been able to find funds to repay the expenses incurred by the states. 24 in number. That's a huge the number is really quite significant. Perhaps what should happen here is for the 3 tiers of administration to synergize properly, because the roads in question, the highways in question, are somewhere are in different parts of the country, so that with proper synergy, roads should be seen to be given constant uplifts, should give constant upgrade, so that at the end of the day, we will have motorable roads across the country. It is important, but the 3 tiers of administration should not stop there. If the alternative modes of transportation are properly developed, no doubt the pressure on the highways will be reduced significantly. Some places that could be classified as coastal in nature should be made to have a vibrant marine transportation. And I'm not losing sight of safety measures, because it's not just enough for you to have vessels operating without safety measures. Some of the vessels do not have proper safety measures, and that's not just good enough. And again, it's also important to have rail extension to all parts of the country, regardless of the fact of what could be the voting behavior of some geopolitical zones. But you look around, you discover that the rail lines, talking about the standard gauge rail lines, appear to be concentrated in just few geopolitical zones that could be said to be deriving perhaps one of the benefits um, related to the electoral support given at a particular time. So that's not just good enough. Different parts of the country, all parts of the country should be made to enjoy rail transportation indeed. And by so doing, pressure could be taken off the highways. Back to you.
All right, we're moving along to a few other stories from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Address judges' welfare now or reduce justice to merchantable commodity. Our Carlo SAN. Promote investment in natural gas, engineers tell FG. And we also have, security experts call for sensitization over cyber threats. And this sad headline here: flood sweeps away Ondo secondary school students. It's been raining for a while now, and I do hope we're taking extra care. Extra care. This is mosquito time. I saw a post on social media where they were taking a jab at people with the AA.
I'm telling you, it's not funny.
This is not a funny thing for them.
No, it's not.
You know? But it is well. We will finish strong.
We need to do something about this.
Well, there's nothing you can
like
do about it.
every month or every other month you have to deal with malaria. And we need to draw attention to the fact that malaria is killing a lot of people. Malaria is killing a lot more people than HIV and AIDS, than COVID-19.
Yeah.
You know. So people with the AA genotype are people of interest. They should be taken care of. We should provide mosquito-treated nets and make the environment conducive.
I have just one thing to tell you. If you fall on that category,
like I do,
I think we do. We both do. Just take care of yourself the best you can and stay strong. You'll finish strong.
God help us.
Amen. Osun 2022, Oyetola assures electorate of adequate security. All right. We sit and watch. We have Buhari leaves Abuja for Chogom 2022. Okay, yes, that was yesterday in Kigali, Rwanda. The Commonwealth Heads of Government gathering is currently happening in Kigali, Rwanda. Ikiti, delay in passing electoral offences bill risky for 2023 polls, IPAC tells Rep. Femi Fani-Kayode is saying this: 22 APC senators planning to defect to PDP. Peter Obi, Bala Mohammed meet Wike in Port Harcourt. That meeting happened yesterday. It was all over the news yesterday. Malachi, any other stories here of interest?
Thank you very much. The Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit in Kigali, Rwanda, should be of interest to quite a lot of stakeholders. That Rwanda was a country that was at war. In fact, the bloodshed in that country was such that development was stalled at all fronts. But here we are. Rwanda is becoming a model to quite a lot of countries in the world. Rwanda has been able to do what many countries who could be said to be enjoying peace for a very long time have not been able to do. Female representation in parliament in Rwanda is one of the highest in the world, and with more female involvement in lawmaking, Rwanda has been able to have a reasonable degree of people friendly laws with which to drive development in all sectors, to be able to regain the lost ground during the many years of war. And here we are. Commonwealth Heads of Government are now meeting in Rwanda, that used to be a trouble spot, that used to be a place that the average human being would like to avoid. So that's Rwanda there. And one would say best of luck as the country strives harder to remain a model to the rest of the world. Very quickly to the story that has to do with the need to attend to the welfare of judges. It's something that the country cannot wish away. Nigeria should take a cue from a country like Republic of South Africa. Judges of South Africa are among the highest paid public officers, and that has helped the system in a big way, in the sense that corruption in judiciary there is almost non-existent, because the judges are well paid. The Chief Justice of South Africa is considered to be earning higher than any other public officer, and sometimes including the president of the country. They are made to enjoy a state of comfort that makes it difficult for them to be induced. That's talking about judges of South Africa. It will be important if the nation could be looking towards the direction of reviewing the welfare package of judges across board, not just Supreme Court, not just Court of Appeal, judges generally in the country, so that perhaps the level of inducement, the level of alleged inducement may now begin to pale into insignificance. Back to you.
All right, it is 6:45 a.m. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll take your messages. You can send text messages to 0818 202 5883 and 0810 608 1681. You're listening to Metro 97.7 FM. This is Newspaper Review. Do stay tuned.
Everyone deserves value for their money. At Silverland Hotels and Suites Limited, our watchword is excellence. Our rooms are luxurious with 24 hours electricity. Security is guaranteed because your safety is our priority. The bar is exotic and our restaurant provides delicious mouth-watering dishes back to back. We also have a classic event place and garden for your memorable events. Visit us today at number 68 Emeka Anyoku Street, opposite International Conference Center, Area 11, Garki, Abuja. You can also make reservations by calling 082 426 1384 070 3298 9435 080 71 44 4464. Silverland Hotels and Suites Limited. Excellence of service.
Live from Lagos, this is Metro 97.7 FM.
All right, 97.7 Metro FM. Time for us to take your responses. Don't forget the numbers to send text messages to, if text message is your thing. So you can send it to 0810 608 1681 and 0818 202 5883. You can also send messages to us via the Facebook post. Underneath the Facebook post, it's facebook.com/Metro977 Live. You can find the post right there. It's fresh. It's up there. You can also send tweet to us via our Twitter handle.
At Metro 977 FM.
Okay. So let's
Newspaper Review.
Okay, great. So let's go to your messages now. I have this this one here reads, "Good morning, crew. Thank you, Amotekun, the security outfit, for proof of their seriousness in security operations in Owo. Where the criminals were targeting in Nigeria. Primates kidnapped and ransom paid 100 million naira, but God is alive to revenge for his people. IGP will want info boxes in all communities because They are known by the neighbors, but fear of leakage of reports stop people from coming forward with information. God help Nigeria, Ginger Egwa too from Navy. Okay. And then this one here reads, Good morning, Metro FM. President Buhari saying that he does not want to go for third term. The question is there anybody asking him to go for third term? Well, that would be greatest surprise of the century. Also, why telling the British Prime Minister and Nigerians, please let us, okay, well, he says, let us be obedient. John from Akute. Okay. And Barrister Ugo Osuji sent this one in. Well, he sends his pleasantries, and then he says INEC in Nigeria is charged with the management of electoral process. Hence, continuous voters registration must go round to make sure that all eligible voters are captured. A situation where INEC chairman and officers may be hoarding voters' registration cards, then there may be sinister motive behind it. Or has INEC privately been contracted to disenfranchise Nigerians on the back of some party chieftains that felt threatened by the activities of the youths and the need to change the political what's that? I think I missed that one. And the need to change the political firmament where rhetorics and gerontocrats have continued not to let go for the youths and not too young to run to come on stage. On the madness being displayed by some local lawyers to rewrite Supreme Court judgment on the wearing of hijab, I pray Supreme Court lay more foundation on that judgment, as it is capable of fomenting anarchy on dress code of Nigerians in public places and the court. That's coming from Barrister Ugo Osuji from Festac.
All right, we have this message from Chika Norom. He says, Senator Ike Ekweremadu's saga, let the law take its course if he has chewed more than he can swallow. We also have this one. Good morning to you, Emmanuel Urumade. Traumatic news coming from the media every day. It's becoming scary, too scary, and I hope Nigeria will not become the world's #1 capital of bad news. How did we degenerate to this low? Can we still hail Nigeria? God save us. He's sending in that message from Ojota. God truly save us. Go ahead.
Good morning, Metro FM. Ekweremadu and his wife arrested over organ trafficking. There is no difference between some of our politicians and a man that is carrying dead elephant on his head, and at the same time using his legs to kick a cricket. Jerry Okoro from Ikorodu. I think that's a proverb. I don't understand it. Good morning, Moses Wadi Damola Malachi. INEC has the responsibility. I think I've taken this one before. Well, this isn't. Okay, this is from Uzodimma. He says INEC has the responsibility to ensure that no Nigerian is disenfranchised. It must ensure that all eligible voters are registered and their PVC promptly issued to them. It is fundamental right of Nigerians to vote, and it is important the right is not violated. I advise INEC to decentralize registration centers to give Nigerians access to register and collect their PVC. 2023 election offers Nigerians opportunity to reclaim our nation and free ourselves from bondage. INEC should not frustrate this progressive movement. Rather, it should encourage it. Get your PVC, Uzodimma says.
Idima Puza, this is your message. Mr. and Mrs. Ekweremadu in organ transplant scandal in London relating to their daughter's kidney ailment. If normal process was followed, they won't be in any trouble. But as typical Nigerian way of doing things, cutting corners, which eventually landed them in trouble. Nothing would have happened if it was in Nigeria. May God help them. We have this other message coming in from Henry NBD in Victoria Island. He says, good morning. I want to thank the UK police for arresting Ekweremadu and his wife over kidnap and conspiracy of human trafficking for organ harvesting of a homeless minor off the streets of Lagos. Nobody would have arrested them if the alleged crime occurred in Nigeria. Justine Otakpo in Aja says, 20 Chibok girls still kidnapped after 8 years. It means we have no defense, no government. Thank you. Alright, OC in Lagos. It's a shame that Senator Ekweremadu and his wife were arraigned in the UK for child trafficking and organ harvesting. State governments. Okay, this is another comment. State government gets refunds for federal government for fixing federal roads is a welcome development. Politicians defecting from one party to another is due to lack of political ideology. God help Nigeria.
Now, INEC insists on deadline remains same 30th of June 2022, despite courts restraining the commission not to end the registration soon. The continuous disobedience to court order by individuals and government agencies is not good at all. Country cannot run well without the rule of law. On these I must say, O Lord, we beseech thee, let your mercy speak for us and direct our noble course. Linus from Iba. All right. We do need our noble course directed, truly.
Yeah.
And this one here, quite lengthy, I must say. Steve Omafoso, good morning, Metro crew. Moses, Wadi, Malachi, Adedamola, greetings to the families, greetings to you too. On INEC, it is not pathetic and shameful that at 62 and in the digital age, Nigeria still cannot get it right on the process of election. One is always forced to ask if Nigeria really wants to sincerely and honestly move forward and live together as one, just as insecurity and poverty in the land is far from getting better, but worsening by the day. In all these, however, we must stop deceiving ourselves, as I maintain that restructuring, well, he says, total and sincere restructuring of Nigeria remains the only way forward. Take it or leave it. That's Steve Omar Fozo's message.
Ken from Agbado says the continuous voters registration exercise domicile in local government area headquarters at this time is not profitable to the people. I'm far from Ifo town. If I have to do my registration now, it is only inside Lagos metropolis that you can access local government areas easily. INEC and other government agencies should consider riverine communities when implementing policies. Take the registration centers closer to the people. All right, and this message coming in from Daddy Love. Okay. Good morning to you. Thank you, PMB, for good assessment of yourself. He asked, but sir, you were born in Nigeria. Have you ever seen it like this before? You have done all you could, but we pray for youths to take over from you. Kindly accept INEC's extension of voters registration as the court has directed. As our security doctorates by day, where are the trackers to track ransom takers and unreachable concentration in the forest throughout the country? God help Nigeria. Okay. Funshaw sent in this message. Good morning to you. He says on Ekweremadu, so the organs of the poor is the spare parts for the children of the rich. God save us. And this message from Solomon Benuba. What of if INEC issues you PVC and you cannot find your name in voters register? What happens? Please ask INEC. You need to go to the closest INEC office to you and rectify that immediately. Have you checked online? Have you tried to do a validation online? If none of that is working, please go to an INEC office, not the local government, and they'll be able to attend to you. Thank you, Solomon Benova, for sending in that one.
All right, time is of the essence, and we do have 2 more minutes to switch over to the network service for the network news. Malaka, you just might want to give us your last take on issues and maybe a parting shot.
Okay, it's almost time, so very quickly let me go to the parting shot. Big muscles do not make a good farmer, unquote.
Okay.
Why are you speechless, Moses?
Just kind of related to
Yes, the country
headline
can.
shit. So
Well, if you want me to explain, the country cannot run away from hard work. Cannot run away from productivity.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank
all
you.
right,
Alex.
there you have it. Big muscles don't make a good farmer. Okay. We must say big thanks to everyone that sent in messages. Big thanks to producer